Hello everyone, my name is Dave Partner and welcome to uh, your first CSS tutorial. If you've been following, you will realize that we just completed our HTML tutorial and this is CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet, which means it's a way to make your HTML beautiful, very beautiful. And then a way to, instead of changing your colors for each different page in your HTML, you just do it once in a CSS file and it changes all the time. Alright, and this is your first video. My name is Dave Partner, and don't forget to subscribe to me on YouTube. This is very important because when I make the next tutorials, you'll get alerts. You understand what I mean? Whenever you get to your YouTube, my videos will be one of those you will see. So if this video is important to you, you really need to visit this URL now and just click on the subscribe button. Then I'm on Facebook. If you're a Facebook person, just visit this URL and like my page. And I'm on Twitter too. Just follow me on Twitter. And I'm on Instagram. You just follow on Instagram. Very important. Alright, thank you very much. We'll be starting our tutorial right now. Remember, if you are following our HTML tutorials, you remember that we created a folder. If you aren't following, just create a new folder on your desktop or anywhere. And then when you create the folder, this is the basic structure of HTML. If you've not done any HTML tutorial, you shouldn't be doing CSS. So just get back and do HTML tutorial, know some basic HTML stuff before you get to CSS. But if you've done that, let's continue. We created folders so that we can organize things. Remember when we created this, we didn't put anything here. We just put one image here as a test, and we didn't put anything here. And we just used this to explain the folder structure, not very important. Then we created our files here. This is the basic structure of any website. As the website gets more complex, you add more folders just to organize things. So the reason why we created this was so that we can do some external CSS. We'll get to that. So make sure your folder is in this format. Then of course create a file. So I'm going to open this with a text editor, Code Lobster, and once the Code Lobster is open, this is what we created before. But just for clarity, I'm just going to return these codes to what a basic HTML page looks like, so that we can be sure we're starting our CSS on a fresh sheet. So I will just change this to CSS tutorial. That's the title of the page, and I'll come to the body. I'll remove everything inside the body tag, everything inside the body tag. And there are three types of CSS. The first one is there is external CSS, there is internal CSS, then there is inline CSS. So I'll start from the third one. The inline CSS is the CSS you put in the opening tags of your elements. So this is CSS, but then it is in the opening tag of an element. It's called inline. That is the least effective type of CSS because it will work for only this tab. So which means if I have a div here that says hello world, and I have another div here that carries these guys. Okay, cool. Then I have a third div that says hello everyone. So if I have this and I use inline CSS on this guy, for instance, it means that I've changed only the text or whatever is contained within this only. Which means if I get to another point in my code or in my site that I need exactly this style, maybe I need my text or background to be this color, I'll have to add it again. I don't know if you're getting me. So let me just quickly go to our page. This is index. I'll go to a page on the browser just to see that it's working. We had index.html. I hit enter. Wait, just to make sure you understand what just happened, I went to this folder and I started this folder on the browser. Remember, that is what we are editing here. It's the same file. So we just did this, painted the background of this div to a certain color. So we go to our browser and cross-check. This is index.html, and what we have here is hello world changing background to this color. What if we wanted every time, maybe what if we wanted the same background for this text? If it's inline CSS, what will happen is that we still need to copy this guy and put here too. That's kind of redundant. There is something redundancy in programming, sort of, in a layman's term, is doing the same thing over and over again, and in programming world, that is plain stupid. That's the most stupid thing you can do. In programming, if you ever have to do something more than twice, you should abstract it, find a place to do it once, then call it in all the other places you need to use it. So here, since we need this background color here and we need it here again, what we should do as a smart person or a smart geeks is to find somewhere and put this code, only this code. When we put it somewhere, we can then say, so we can then call it. So this is, we can smartly put it somewhere. We can say style. Okay. So inside here, we can just say a class. We can say a div back. You can just name it anything and then paste the code inside here. Paste. Or let me just change it to dark background. Alright, so I hope you understanding what we did. We just took this code out, that code that changes the background color, into an element we called style. What we'll now do is come to any element we ever want the background to be dark. Of course, there is a mistake here. Once you take the code out, what you should do is you don't put that style again. These guys go. So once you take the code out, you just put it like this. Then when you come to the code, you just write dark back. Hope you get what is happening. We created a style sheet. Then we wrote a name. We just chose any name we wanted. Then we gave the property and the value. Then coming to the elements in our code, we just put an ID. This ID in CSS is represented by this hash sign. We just put an ID and put a dark back equals to dark back. So when the code gets to this point, it will go to our CSS and look for whichever ID we called dark back, any dark back that has hash, and use the color on it. Alright, so that's what we'll do for this guy too. But first of all, let me remove this. And I didn't put it here. Let me just save. And then we'll go and refresh just to be sure that we are. Everything is working for the first one, but it's not working for the second one. So we can come to the second one, and since we want to use this again, we just say ID equals dark back. Okay, so far so good. So we come here and refresh. Oops, refresh. We made a mistake, that's why it didn't work. So we just put it here and save. Then come here and refresh. Bang! You see, it's so easy. When you have an external CSS, do you know why this is very important? We can add endless values here. So we can just say, hey, we want the color to be red. Very good. Any text that is within this should be red. So we'll go and red everywhere. Okay, so that's not a wonderful color, but who cares? We can add it, padding to be 20 pixels. Then we'll go on refresh. You know what is padding? I will get to that, but padding kind of adds extra space here, and extra space here. So we give it 20 pixels to pad up, down, left, right. And in padding, you can always make sure that you have you can specify which side you want the padding to go. So what if we wanted it to be only on at the bottom? And click save, and go and refresh, reload. So only at the bottom. See, the space is only at the bottom. Another thing we can do is to make everything bold. We can bold font weight. I'm using these tactics to show you, to teach you some of the properties we need in CSS. We want to make this font weight bold. And this is very, very, very easy and interesting. Now, this guy is called Internal CSS. Remember when we did this style inside the opening tag? It's called Inline CSS. Inline, look at it. Inline CSS, the first one. Then this one that we have to take it out to somewhere is called Internal CSS. Then in the next video tutorial, we'll do External CSS. Very, very simple and very interesting. So thank you very much. Like and share and follow me on your best social networks. See you in the next video tutorial. Thank you very much.